again, I am being joined by JJ Asongu, who is the executive, I believe you will correct me if I'm wrong, the executive director of the APJ, Alliance for Peace and Justice. JJ, it's a privilege to have you join me here tonight, sir. Good evening.
Good evening.
It's great to have you, sir. I hope you are doing great out there.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into this. I am very sure you have listened to my monologue, and I guess probably in your mind it is out of place to what the APJ and the ICO they are trying to achieve here. If I am wrong, correct me, sir.
Yeah. I think you are definitely wrong. First of all, uh, your, at the beginning of the program, of as part of your monologue, you did mention a couple of things that are not right.
Okay.
First of all, you said we're not for independence, and I wonder if you've read the doc, because the document clearly says that we are for independence, and we have a roadmap towards that independence, and that roadmap through a referendum, which we speakers identified as our end point, and the document states that we are uh, looking at the possibility of having such a referendum in the year 2030. So, if you claim that we are not for independence, having a referendum of Southern Cameroons by 2030. Your monologue was self-contradiction. That is surprising to say to read any further meaning to it, but I think it's rather surprising that you would say that when the the plan clearly says that there will be a referendum on the future, the independence question. With that said, first of all, this is not an ICO APJ plan. APJ stands for Alliance for Peace and Progress. And less than 2 weeks ago, it was formed on the 17th November, after 2 years, not almost 2 years, a year of discussions with various groups, Ambanian groups. And the idea was with the one groups, necessarily as one group,
Dr. JJ, I don't know.
but
I
with
think
one,
you are
we
having a
have,
connect. I think you are having a connection issue out
one
there.
we are to La République du Cameroon. Sorry, it looks like.
Yeah, I think you are having a connection issue out there.
Okay,
Can you can yeah, just go ahead. Just go ahead. Let's see. Go ahead.
okay. So I was saying that the idea, these things have been discussed over a period of almost 2 years, and there were many groups that were involved. At some point, some of the groups under the umbrella of uh, the consultative committee, they chose to leave the negotiation table. uh, Not, I will not even call it the negotiation table, that's the discussion table. And at that point, all what we were trying to do was to come out with certain bottom line, the least, uh, our least common denominator, the things that we think must be part of an acceptable with La République du Cameroon. So, while they walked out, a number of other groups stayed in, including me. We stayed in. Finally, last or the Sunday, the 17th, we had the final meeting where we put forward the plan, which we have made public. It's not a secret plan. We've made public. We put together a 2-page plan. Initially, there was a longer document of about 16, 17 pages. But at the end, because of some of the disagreements and all that, we said we should come out with a summary document of the main points, the things that we are looking for, with the hope that it's a document in progress that other groups or anybody who joins in, we can come in and contribute towards getting that. All along, yes, the APJ, that's why I said it is, sorry, not APJ, the IC, or the International Communities Organization, all along, they said this is not their process, that it was ours, and that we own all the Amazonian groups that are there, anybody who wants to be there, that we own the process. So I'm not saying anything contrary to what they said, even when other groups were still there. And we
All
can
right,
get into why.
just hold it there if you can. Let me go back from the beginning. You mentioned that you tried to discount my opening statement that said you are all about one Cameroon, and you said no. This is a process that leads to the independence of Amazonia 2020, tackling the referendum, you said. Now, the preamble to your organization, which I have here, says, the first paragraph says, this paper represents the collective position of groups from the former British Southern Cameroons who seek a peaceful and sustainable solution to the crisis, an end to political violence, and relief for the humanitarian situation affecting the region. Paragraph 2, or point B, says, recognizing the need to move beyond zero sum or zero rum, something like that, perspective. The paper aims to establish a foundation for a renewed relationship between the former British Southern Cameroons and the government of the Republic of Cameroon, centered on genuine autonomy and self-governance. That is your position. That I'm reading from your position paper there. So if you look at this, how do you explain to somebody that this is a logical plan to independence? When you say you want a renewed relationship with La République du Cameroon that is focused on the autonomy within the framework of La République du Cameroon, or self-governance within that same framework, how can you convince the people listening to us that your plan is about independence?
You've just added some words there.
No. I have not added anything. I have read exactly what is there.
Well, you read and you added.
Yeah, I did an explanation at the end. But again, if you want me to read exactly word for word, listen to what it says. Recognizing the need. Let me expand my screen here. Recognizing the need to move beyond zero-sum perspectives. The paper aims to establish a foundation for a renewed relationship between the former British Southern Cameroons and the government of the Republic of Cameroon, centered on genuine autonomy and self-governance. Quote to quote. Let me read the point C. That also says, the proposed model for autonomy Now, these are your words. The proposed model for autonomy is premised upon I think there's a typo or something area there. But it said the proposed model for autonomy is premised upon the inviolability of the territorial, linguistic, cultural, and identitarian integrity of the people of the former British Southern Cameroon. This is all what you have there. So, comrade, my question would be,
Yes.
you are very clear what your intentions there are: autonomy, self-governance within the framework of United Cameroon. How do you convince somebody that
No,
this plan then leads to independence for Amazonia?
We did not say that within the framework of a united Cameroon. First of all, we acknowledge the fact that this is a process, it's not a one-day thing. So you have to see the whole paper. Don't cherry pick one sentence from here and there and say that's all what it is. The whole
Comrade, I have actually read the entire paper.
Right? Sorry?
I have actually read the entire paper, and along this conversation, I will be quoting from it.
Yes, so we say that the entire thing is premised on the fact that we want independence, and that the independence should come through a federation. And we propose that this federation will be in 2030, as I said. And we say that there is a roadmap towards self-determination. And that roadmap, I'm getting to the point of the autonomy. First of all, autonomy, if you look at the word autonomy, it means it's actually a synonym for independence. Because
not really. I think you can say it's a synonym for...
It is. There are multiple definitions.
Exactly. And in this case, it doesn't mean independent.
No,
because
I'm telling you, as the
you
author,
have talked about a new relationship with Cameroon.
Correct, because they need to be a new relationship. Right now, the relationship that exists is a belligerent relationship where we are fighting and we are fighting with La République du Cameroon. So basically, the relationship is that we want to sit on the table with La République du Cameroon, which is nothing novel. There's nothing novel about it. You have mentioned before, even the program that just ran before this was talking about the Canadian process. It was talking about the Swiss process. That all talked about negotiation. So there's nothing novel about this. This is all part of what we have all been working towards. And then we are saying that right now there is that situation where both sides are not talking to each other. And we believe that a solution would come with both sides talking to each other. And that's what we are talking about when we mean by a new relationship.
We are both agreed. We are both agreed.
Let me just finish. That there will be a relationship. The meaning of the relationship is that we are now willing to sit and talk with La République du Cameroon with the goal that we will put together a roadmap. Because you just talked about the situation of Sudan, South Sudan. I did participate in some serious meetings. I was in Mozambique. I was in Mozambique at the first AU meeting where they were talking about the issue they put in. They talked about 10 years for them to prepare for a referendum and all that. So we recognize that referendum will not happen overnight. That referendum will need time to prepare questions as to who to vote, who to supervise, all those things, and it cannot happen overnight.
Okay, Doctor, let's not rush. We're gonna get there. Let's not rush.
Let me clarify the point, since you keep on insisting on that. So
why don't we do this? Why not take us step by step from ceasefire to referendum to where Amazonia get independence in your plan?
That's why I was moving to. Our plan has our plan has two main things. One, that there should be a negotiated ceasefire where the international community, precisely the United Nations, we are proposing that the United Nations should send a peacekeeping force or a mediation force that should come to supervise the ceasefire, so that La République de Cameroon cannot come and arrest or continue to cause havoc while we do this. On the other hand, our organizations, our groups that are fighting, would also cease fire, stop fighting, giving room for peace. And our first thing is that it will start by releasing all the prisoners as a sign of good faith. And then, as they release the prisoners, as we work towards that 2025, we don't want to be in the same situation where we are today. So we say that in between now, let's say if it was to happen now or next year, we're already in November, let's say it was to happen next year, then between whatever time this thing happens, between then and 2030, the government of Cameroon will need to do a number of things. We are saying that as the very first thing that they should do is that they need to allow regional governments to, or a government for Southern Cameroons to come in force, so that we start.
When does that come into the plan? The government of the
Immediately,
Southern Cameroon, when does that come into the plan?
immediately, that's part of the negotiations of the ceasefire. That as soon as that happens, the government comes into place. They will establish regional assemblies. That's what we are talking about, and then hold elections for those regional assemblies. And we would then, we are actually asking, this is a summary of our position, but initially the position includes the fact that that we want to have control over our economy, control over our police, control over our educational system, control over our legal system. In fact, the only thing that we yield to La Republique is international relations and probably a few other things like issuing of passports and all
But
that.
then the problem there is you are talking about these regional assemblies. La Republic has already provided for them in the context of their special status. But
Well,
you
there are
are
no
talking
regional
about it.
assemblies. Do you have
You are
regional
talking about
assemblies there
regional
now?
assemblies in the
Do you
context
have,
of
excuse me, do you have
autonomy
regional
within
assemblies?
Cameroon. Why not
Do you
wait
have
to when? Why not get to the end of your program where you anticipate independence and say, at independence, Ambazonians decide what kind of assemblies, whether regional or what assemblies they want to have? Why start
Yes.
from that?
Okay. Listen. Wait. When you get the referendum, you need a people who are already in place, governments, people who are already in place doing it. So the 5 years or 4 years, as the case may be, prior to the referendum, in our estimation, is the time that you start building self-governance. You start building self-governance, building institutions that ultimately, because this is a democratic process, that ultimately we hope, if the referendum comes in, that we are going to overwhelmingly support independence. So in the meantime, you have to build those institutions, and this time period is the time to build those institutions. Those things will not happen overnight. We don't envisage a situation where, let's say we go now, we say there is a referendum today, then there's a referendum, who takes over, who is leading. Is it the factions that we have today? 10 factions that, like what became war in Southern Sudan, where it turned into a civil war. So we are saying that let's start building governmental, self-governmental institutions, autonomous institutions within our own area that will be able to transition us from now to the period where we hopefully will gain the independence. The other thing that you seem to leave out here is the fact that centered on this approach is the fact that we want to get the buy-in of the international community. Right now, the international community for know any of any international of any that is, I want to use the word solidly. I don't even know whether actually supported our independence, that is saying that they can recognize us. So we are cognizant of that. And so what we want to do is to gradually build a relationship with the international community, make our point known, and make them part and parcel of the process, so that the negotiation is not a two negotiation. Southern Cameroons or Amazonia of like the Cameroon and the international community being there as witnesses. And that's why I'm talking to you right now from Geneva. Tomorrow I'm presenting a speech. It will be televised by the UN. This thing. So I'm saying this because I read some stuff from some groups in the social media. They were saying like, "Oh, it's a lie. Where is here and all that." I posted my picture right inside the UN. They say what this thing. Look at the UN program. It's actually online. You see, we are presenting a situation, and I think if anybody can correct me on this, this is probably the first time that we are going in as Cameroons to go officially. That is on the calendar. I'm going there tomorrow, and my paper you can listen.
I hear you, but let me get back to this. Let me get back to this.
To sell the peace process.
Yeah, I hear you. Let me ask you this.
We have two things.
I hear you. Let me ask you this question. Can you tell us which, apart from Capo, Dania, and Prap, which Amazonian groups are you working with within the APJ, putting all of this together?
They're all online.
Which are they? Just mention them. Let's.
And by the way, at the beginning, we had many groups that were part of this, and they walked out. And if we want to discuss part of that,
so which groups do you have at the moment working with you and supporting your mission to the UN?
Is the APJ? What do you mean by which groups working with me and supporting my mission?
Your preamble says, your statement says the paper represents the collective position of groups from the former British Southern Cameroon. So I'm asking you, apart from Capo Daniel's Prap, which other group from the Southern Cameroons is part of your organization?
Well, there are many groups. We have the Nigerian refugee, the Nigerian refugee representative. We have the Ghanaian. We have the Coffin Revolution, which renamed itself as the Amazonian Liberation Movement. We have the Amazonia Republic. There are many groups that are all listed out there. So if you could read other things, you can read them there. My point is this. So, and these groups, they work, and before that, a lot of what we put together was actually at the same time that we had also members of the consultative committee that were also part of it. So the groups that were there were
a member of the consultative. So, I am a member of the consultative committee.
And they were participating.
But I say that to say this. I am a member of the consultative committee, and we sent representatives who tried to find out what this plan was all about. At the end of the day, we realized it was the wrong route to take, and we pull out. Now, this is the reason why we pull out. In your ceasefire plan, and I read from page 2 of 16, paragraph 13 says, a permanent ceasefire would only be enforceable in the event of final peace agreement between non-state armed groups and the government of the Republic of Cameroon, predicated upon 1. Recognition of the unique territorial, linguistic, cultural, and identity-based
what document are you reading?
I'm sorry?
From? What document are
I'm
you
reading this
from?
from your plan, your peace plan.
What document?
Your peace plan. I'm reading from your peace plan. This is actually page.
Which my peace plan?
The
No, because I'm not
APJ peace plan, page
nice
2.
Let me correct you. Let me correct you. The
Okay.
only plan
Unfortunately, your connection really has some
You are
issues
reading
there.
what?
All right, go on, please.
Okay. Well, I don't know what I can do. I'm from.
Well, it sounds better now. Just go on.
Hotel in Geneva.
Sounds
Yes.
better. Just go on.
So I'm saying that. Yes, I'm saying that the only official document that we have out there is our 2-page document. What you are reading from a draft document that we're working with together. That's why you have a copy together with all those groups, and some of them worked out. Some groups worked out. The consultative committee, to be precise, they worked out, and because of that and all the things, we said, okay, we don't want to go into every bit and into every minute details, because that can come on a delay. Final decision as of the 17th of January that we created the APJ is that we 2-page official position. That 2-page, which I think we have shared with you. If we are not, it's on our website. You can go look.
But this is what I'm trying to say. Whether
with.
it is 2-page or 4 pages, it talks about a ceasefire.
No, because you're quoting from a document that you're quoting from a draft document that has not been approved.
But
So
don't you talk about a
that is a
ceasefire in
draft
your
document.
2-page document? Don't you talk about a ceasefire in your 2-page document and a referendum also?
Yeah, but you're quoting certain paragraphs that I'm not seeing there.
Yeah, but
It's not there.
but you are not saying that what I'm quoting is wrong. Your problem is that I'm quoting from a draft. But the question is,
Yes, because
if you want,
it is wrong.
let me
It
put
is
the question.
wrong.
Let me put the
Because-
question this way. Let me put the question this way. You are asking Ambazonia Restoration Forces to lay down their arms and then get reintegrated by the government of La République du Cameroon in this process. And my question is, if you are asking Ambazonians to lay down their arms and then reintegrate it into Cameroon, what gives you? And then it goes on to maybe 2030, as you suggested earlier, or beyond. What then informs your opinion or your position that after everything is surrendered into the hands of La République du Cameroon, that they will be interested in a referendum after they have dismantled everything for self-defense in Ambazonia?
Yeah, first of all, I've told you that the document you are reading from, what I
No, but
stand
is my premise wrong?
Is our 2-page.
Is my premise here wrong? The one I'm explaining to you now. Are you not asking for the self-defense force in Ambazonia
in the sense that
in the ceasefire process to lay down their arms, get reintegrated by the government of La République du Cameroon, then down the road you talk about a referendum. My question is, what will be the motivating factor to Cameroon to even agree to your referendum?
Sorry, I didn't get this, as you said some number of words, which probably
Yeah, I'm hearing
to
you. I
the
can hear you.
Can you repeat?
Okay, this is the point I am making. You talk about a ceasefire in
I'm
your
not hearing
peace plan, and
you
you
at
talk
all.
about a referendum,
Okay.
and you talk about a referendum in your peace plan, which may ultimately, according to you, lead to an independent Ambazonia. However, to get to that referendum, there has to be a ceasefire. You talked earlier about the release of political prisoners, and then autonomy will follow. Then Ambazonian fighters will lay down their arms and reintegrate it by La République du Cameroon. So my question then is, after Ambazonians have surrendered, they are dismantled from the ability to self-defense. What do you think will be the motivating factor for Cameroon to even agree to a referendum?
Well, if you go to that draft document that you keep on pushing me to get there, the idea in that is that, I mean, in that draft document, which I still insist underline the word draft, idea there as expressed there, really, if you go at it carefully, answers that question, because we are saying that there will be a period between 2025 effectively to 2030, where we will be running our own affairs. And I said here earlier that among the things that we are saying that we would be in control, the police that will be in control of our police, and those people who were fighting the combatants will be part of the Southern Cameroon's police force, not part of
So in your
La
plan, are you
Republic.
saying that in your are you saying that
That
in your plan
and that is once
this
again
are you saying that in your plans before a
why
referendum? Are you saying that in your
and
plan before the referendum, the Southern Cameroons would be having its
yeah,
own
go ahead.
police force? Are you saying that in your plan before the referendum, the
Yes, we'll be
Southern
having
Cameroons would be
some
having its
autonomous, including
own
a
police
police
force?
force. Yes,
I think you are frozen. All right, yeah, I can hear you now. Go on.
yes, indefinitely. I mean, definitely, and it what we are going to have our own separate police force.
That is before the referendum.
I'm saying that you are right on that. That yes, that we are going to have our own independence if it works. By the way, this is not a final negotiation document. We are simply to capture our ideas, what we are going. At the end, these things will be discussed with parties, and we have not excluded anybody. First of all, this is like a coalition of the willing. If any group is in particular initiative, they can. If not, continue with your own point. We cannot come and force you to come in, but our vision for it, we start with, and this is important, that we start with getting certain certain activities under our control right now or at the very beginning, including what we said: there's a flag, an anthem, a capital, an assembly. All of those are written in that draft, which I was trying to evade. Since you are insisting, they are all written in that draft, but we still need to refine them. And if anybody has a critique, in fact, I'm not really worried about the details, because if you have a critique of that document, even as we speak, we can get ideas and go in and fix it. It's a document in process. It has not been handed to La République, but we are saying that this is what we think, and basically we are trying to learn from the lessons of the failed Swiss and the failed Canadian negotiations in order to improve and see what are some of the things. For example, you started by claiming that we do not use the word Ambazonia as to mean that of whatever you had your choice of words. The point is clear, and all the guys, even your consultative people there, they act. It was Akwanga Wood stood and in that meeting and delivered a long presentation of probably 20 minutes or so, talking, trying to say that we should come to the name, and so we agreed that we should, that if La République du Cameroun is not even willing, because we were made to honor that they have drawn a red line with the matter of name, that if you present a group as Ambazonia this, they are not going to talk. And even while they were there, that name was already agreed upon. The Fontaine de Bass and all these, your consultative guys, they were there at the site. They signed, we have a document where they signed before they later came and withdrew the signed the commitment. That has already the language there. They don't use the word Ambazonia, they use British Southern Cameroons, because that was the agreed terminology that was in order to get La République. La République says they cannot. What is informing this approach again is this. First of all, we want to get the international community involved in the process, in the negotiation process. And the
JJ,
international community.
let me just cut you short there. Let me cut you short there.
Why many try to bring up this point and you try to dodge away.
You've been talking now for like 5 minutes. Let me interject, and I mean, as you talk, questions come into mind. Capo Daniel, who is essentially the brain behind what you guys are falling for, has said that the war is not winnable. He is no longer for an independent Ambazonia. He is for devolution, another word for autonomy. So knowing that, how do you want us to believe that you are being really honest in telling us this thing leads to independence?
Okay. The point is that we need to have all the voices here about if you want to talk about him, those people who are willing to do this. We have two things on the line. We desire peace. We desire peace because we think that continuing to fight is weighing a lot on our people, and we're losing lots and lots.
No, it is not about. I think the issue, the question.
Okay, so we are.
The question is not about fighting.
With the ceasefire.
The question is not about fighting.
Yes,
the question is believing for the ultimate, which is independence. Capo Daniel isn't saying that we cannot fight.
And
he
that's
is
what
saying
we
that
are
we
for.
cannot win. And so he is campaigning now for one Cameroon. And that is your organization.
That's not. I'm not part of Capo Daniel. I've never been part of his organization, and that's why I'm saying if you have a problem with.
So,
Capo
what
Daniel,
organization do you represent in the APJ?
Mosaic, we agreed. The IPJ came up. I'm representing the Coffin Revolution, which is called the Amazonia Liberation Movement. If you insist, I will tell you that. But what? And I've always done that. If you remember, so if you remember, this is not the first time I'm representing that organization. My point is that we are coming and putting together a bottom line, what everybody accepts. We are not there to represent Capo Daniel, and if Capo Daniel has a problem, if we can go and ask him the question, not to come and ask me. However, this is a position which he has signed. As to whether he has another position he is to sign, for this particular position that we are looking at, that we want to gain independence through a referendum. Through a referendum. That is the point. And we want to engage the international community. We want to engage the international community to be partners with this. And that is exactly why we are going on a diplomatic offensive, like what we came here to do, to present our. And we are talking to many countries. As of now, I cannot call names, I don't have any deals, but I will tell you that we have less than 16 countries.
All right, hold on there. Hold on there, because you keep going back.
They are not there for our
hold on there, because you keep going back to this idea of independence and referendum. Let me read again from your draft, which is this. I'm looking at page 5 here from your draft. As citizens of the Republic of Cameroon.
I've told you that don't come to talk about the draft. You cannot, no, wait, you cannot,
have you changed
you cannot come and drag me to something that we have not, you cannot come and drag me into something that we have not yet.
But this is your paper.
That is not a published
This is your paper that you guys forwarded to me.
So you come and get the draft of something. Who forwarded it to you?
One of you. Okay, let me just read what it says. You are not forced to accept it. Let me read what it says. You don't have to accept what it says there, but let me read it. It says, as citizens of the Republic of Cameroon, all persons having been granted amnesty or release from prison or detention, you said this from the beginning, will have all political, economic, and social rights, as well as the right to participate freely in the political process, both in the former British Southern Cameroons and the Republic of Cameroon. Now, the emphasis here is as citizens of the Republic of Cameroon. Again, I ask you the question.
Yes.
Why would you start by suggesting that we are citizens of La République du Cameroun? And Cameroon has to grant us amnesty. So when I come over, Cameroon has to grant Chris Anu amnesty. I don't want to come for Cameroon to look for amnesty. I want to believe here, fly to Ambazonia where I am a citizen.
A safe flight to Ambazonia. My point is that as of now, the plan, there is no contradiction in that plan. The plan says between now 2030, we are going to gradually be assuming responsibility, having our own police, having our own legislation, having our own educational system and all that. And between now until time that we have the referendum, and hopefully
you are assuming
that no matter what is, we can want to build castles in the.
You are assuming.
Let me finish this because it's. Let me finish the talk because you just cut me short before I made my point. Let me finish my point. Don't cut me short before because by then understands what I was trying to say. I was trying to answer your question. You said that was a big deal, and I want to clarify that big deal.
Yeah, the point is we don't have all the time here, and I'd like you to hit the nail on the head.
That's why let me finish the point. If you brought me to come and give me the time to explain.
Yeah, I give you the time.
That I want to clarify. Maybe you did not. Yes. So the clarification is this: between 2024, now that we are, realistically, it will be 2025 if at to dialogue with us. I'm talking about us as me, AGP alone. If La République is dialoguing, probably all the interested voices on the table, I don't know. But as saying is that between now and 2020 was to go into effect. Between 2025 to 2030, during that time, if you are before we at our referendum to decide that we are a country, no matter your fantasies or what. The truth is that if today an Ambazonian wants to leave the country, it goes for a visa, he's a Cameroon passport. That is reality. We cannot deny. We may not like it. That is reality. And so, in that, now until we our independence, between now we are realists. I'm not somebody who build castles in the air. I'm a realist. So
I agree
between
with
now and
that.
then,
I agree
just
with that. That
like now,
until
NM's leaving
until there
ambassador
is
out
formal
goes to the
separation,
Cameroon passport.
I
Yes,
agree with
and so
that.
that's what
That
we are saying. We are saying that
no,
before we
you've taken
get.
a quite
So
a
why are
long
you
time
arguing
there.
that
This is the
that we
point.
citizens
This
of
is
this
what I'm trying
country?
to say. This is what I'm trying to say.
Let
I
me
agree
finish.
with what you are
That
saying
that
as
is why
far
we
as
are saying that
passports and ID
within this.
cards are concerned. I agree with what you are saying as far as passports and
That's why we are
ID
saying
cards
that
are
between.
concerned. Let me make a point. Let me make a point. This is my problem.
Yes, and let me
This
please.
is
Can
my
you just
problem.
let me? Just let me finish
What convinces
that
you
point. Let me
that
finish because I've not
after
finished my logical
what
argument.
convinces you that after all what you said have been done, maybe political prisoners freed, and then state assemblies, and then laying down of arms by Ambazonian fighters, that Cameroon will agree to your referendum. I see a stone wall the moment you get to where you are talking to and you are left with a referendum. A lot of people will never accept to it.
Well, the guarantees is that we still have our own police. That if things come to the head, they are representing us. They are our fighters, and they represent our own territory. If that works, but what I'm saying beyond everything is that this is not written on stone. If you think that you have a magic wand, or even no magic wand, that you are just the wise man out there and you have something better than this, we are open to you instead of coming and using ad hominem type of arguments,
There is
which are.
something better, and if you will listen to me, I will explain what is better. This is what is better. How about we invite a lot of people into Cameroon, we come to the table, and Cameroon says, this is what we believe in, this is our plan. We on this side, Ambazonians, say, this is our plan, this is what we believe in. And then we reach a compromise within the two parties instead of Ambazonian going there telling Cameroon we want autonomy, we want self-determination, we want this. Why do you think they are
Well,
bound to
it's
accept it?
self-determination, not what we really want. We want self-determination,
But
which.
let's bring that to the table where they are
Well,
there,
that's what
we
I'm
are
bringing to the
there,
table. That's
and
what
we
I'm
can
bringing to the table.
compromise.
We are bringing it to the table. We
No,
are.
you are suggesting autonomy to Cameroon.
No.
Yes,
Yes,
that's your
we've used the word
document.
autonomy. I've told you that it is a process that for now, between whenever they agree to sit with us, and if we get into an agreement, our vision hopefully is that we would now have autonomy, and those are all predicated on people laying down their arms, that they agree to it, that we have autonomy, and within 5 years we
Comrade, but
then have
you are making my
referendum.
point. You are making my point. I'm saying there is no way we can ask Ambazonian fighters to lay down their arms when Cameroon is not committed to anything, because at the end of the day, Cameroon says, I have dismantled them. Forget about referendum. Forget about autonomy. They will say peace has returned, and which is what I really think that most of you at the ICO and APJ and PRAP are really thinking about, because Capo Dani has made it very clear we cannot win. There is no hope for Ambazonia.
Well, I don't think, as I told you, I'm not here to talk about Capo. I'm not. And if the other point is that, yes, Capo was the one who brought ICO on the table. And my understanding was that when he brought ICO advised him to bring other organizations on the table. These organizations have come to the table, which until just over a month ago included your representatives. they came to the table. In fact, that draft document you are talking about was drawn when they were on the table. Maybe that is why you have the copy, because they can share, because they were still on the table. And so that was the prevailing point. Now they have moved up, they have moved out. That is fine. Everybody does what they think is good. I mean, but we still think that there should be unity. I would have preferred that they sat on the table and argued and changed the change some of those things. And even now, as I've told you, it is a draft document. And it is what we really have agreed to is a summary two-pager. That is the one that we have dot the T's and cut, I mean, dot the I's and cut the T's. And however, even that document is a work in progress. But that's what we're putting out there to be like, this is what we want to do. And we welcome all suggestions. If you think it's not going to work, maybe otherwise and all that, but let the different voices are out to explain, or is trying to, there are different opinions out there, and at the end we'll present all of this, whichever one works and all that. As I've said, I'm clear-eyed on this. I'm not I cannot say sure going to work, but that is something we are putting out there as a possibility for peace. And if anybody is interested in bringing about the independence, which we have not sacrificed, we are simply prescribing based on our perspective that the independence should be through a referendum, and that realistically the referendum cannot be now.
We agree.
But
we agree. You and I, we agree on a referendum. How to get there and achieve our goal is where we disagree. You mentioned about.
okay,
you
and
talked
if that's the
about.
case, then it is not coming to sit on in public and then fight over it. The way out is that maybe representatives of your group, us and all that, we come and sit and be like, okay, we think you are flawed here, which as of now.
But this is where the
I've
problem is. You are correct, and that is why we were there in the first place. The consultative commission was there in the first place.
And why did you leave? Can you tell the wait, excuse me, can you tell the world why you guys left?
No, exactly what where I'm coming
Okay,
to.
great. Yeah.
So, this is the problem. There is a memorandum of understanding between PRAP, Capo Daniel, and I guess all of you know about it, and the ICU. We asked to see a copy of it. We realized there was no transparency, and they were not willing to release that document to be seen. Number two, we would not come and be sitting on the table with the people who are speaking a different language from us. It is a language of autonomy, of self-governance, of federation. We know what we are fighting for. We know what people have died for. They have died for independence. Thirdly, the ICO presents itself as a neutral group, whereas the ICO has not been neutral. As far back as January 2022 or 23, the ICO was in Cameroon bringing the mayors and councillors together to help them to understand and enforce spatial status from Grand National Dialogue. I can show you the photographs from there. So, comrade, this is what is wrong. There is no transparency, and the parties involved cannot be trusted.
Well, I think as I wanted to guys left. Let me tell you why your group left, because they came to the very ICO and they were asking for money, and they said that all what they want ICO to do was give them money to not just write a check to you. This is fact. Whether they told you or
Take
not,
take that
this
again.
is a
Take that
fact
again.
that happened. They said,
Hold on, please. I really want to get that because that's a
yes, I'm
revelation
saying
you
that,
are making. Hold on,
yes.
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on.
Yeah, and
You
no,
are
I was part of the discussion.
you are saying the consultative group
Yes,
came to the ICO
yes,
and they were demanding for
yes,
money. Explain.
yes. I'm saying that.
Explain.
Yes. What do I need to explain? I've said so. What do I need to explain?
They were
Go ask them to
demanding. They were
explain.
demanding for money to do what?
Yes.
To do
Go
what
ask
with the
them.
money?
Go ask them.
No, I mean you were there. I need to
Go
know.
ask
I'm
them. Why are you
hearing
asking
from
me?
you. I'm hearing from you.
Yep.
That members
Yep.
spoke.
Go
Do
ask
you know
them.
precisely who from? Because it could be that somebody was acting from his own on his own volition and not the organization. Do you know exactly who demanded money from the ICO from the Consultative Commission?
No, I do not. And even if I know, I'm not one of those flippant people who would come on and be shouting. People, I have dignity, and even if I disagree with people, I'll present it in the right place, not on social media or on TV or wherever. I'm not that type of person. Maybe you've never known me that much. I'm not.
But you are
I don't
very
do.
sure,
I know people have tried to
100%
do that
sure.
on me.
But you are very sure, 100%
Yes,
sure that.
100%, 100%. I'm not saying 99. I'm saying 100%.
But again, I really want to know what they were demanding this money for.
Okay, call me in person and all that, and this thing I cannot say it up. This thing, but I do not. I was not. I was not. Of course, they made personal calls to ICO, but ICO has confirmed that. I can say that for sure. Except you want to still say that ICO just made up the story, which that is you are free to say it. But as of that, that is a fact that I heard. I'm
Okay.
100% and 100% sure of what I'm saying, not mincing my words.
I will be joined shortly by Mark Chaps, who attended some of those meetings, and he is the secretary with the Consultative Commission. Dr. Fontem should also be joining this discussion. He seems not to be here yet. Mark seems to be frozen. If he is listening to me, please reconnect and join. But I hear you. However, we go back to
Yep,
the point.
excuse me, and it's not like I'm going away. I will be there, but this cannot be an endless thing. Remember, I told you I'm here in the meeting. I have another meeting to hold, though. But
I get
let's,
you. I get you. When the time
yep,
comes, you have to leave. You have to leave. Not a big deal.
yep.
But let's go back to the ICO neutrality in this whole thing. I don't think you disagree with me that since 2022 or 2023 January, the ICO has been collaborating with the Cameroon government to carry out some seminars, some empowerment on the ground, especially at the councillors and mayors level, isn't it?
I think that's public knowledge, so nobody doubts that. It's even on
Great.
their
So my
website.
question then
Yep, it's on
is,
their
when we
website.
say we do not trust them, we do not trust them. We cannot. We do not see them as a neutral party. Do you understand where we're coming from? Which is the reason why the organization, the consultative committee, said, if we have to participate in anything, let's bring it to the table. Let's participate in the formative process. They didn't do that. They
Well,
didn't
and that
want to
was
do that. Show us the
no, that was the
MOU. Show us the
that was
MOU
the
between you and Capo Daniel. This ICO did not want to do that. We realized there was lack of
well,
transparency. That is why we are not on the table.
well, they have the right to they have the right to, if you are not comfortable with it, you have the right to leave as they did. But what I'm saying is that that was one of their demands, the money, and that was one of the things that predated that. They knew all along that ICO was involved in Cameroon before they even came to discussing that. They are free to ask for the for the MOU that they had, whatever, and if that to them was so essential that they could continue without seeing it, then that is fine. But I don't think that the MOU between, that's my personal take, I don't think that the MOU between Capo Daniel and IC or whatever it has is the would be what would determine the that what would determine the negotiations. Because when they come to the negotiation, are we going to MOU? No, we are not going to the negotiation table to go and negotiate MOU. That's not what we're going to negotiate.
Sorry about that. I got a little bit distracted here. Uh, yeah, so we are talking about issue of transparency here, Dr. JJ. We are day Ambazonians. And so we have the opinion that this thing concerns us. And an outside
Of
group
course.
cannot come in and bring down upon us what they want us to do without us having the ability to contribute into what they want us to do.
Well, I think we have the ability to contribute. Again, what they thought they were not having, then they have the freedom to live as they left.
Exactly.
But I don't think that, yes, and it's their choice. You cannot force somebody, but I don't think that my freedom was restricted. I don't think that. If they felt like theirs were, that is their right. Is I don't think that that was the
All right. Doug, why in the absence of Chaps and Dr.
yes.
In the absence of
Maybe
Chaps,
we can hold another session to bring them in because I really have to go.
that if you can
To be
just
honest,
give,
it's
if you can just give me just 10 minutes, I will call it just 10 minutes. Is that okay? 10 minutes, okay?
okay, but I can show that see here
All
the
right.
text that are
Let's just
waiting
give
for
me
me.
10 minutes. And what I want to do is I like to open the phone lines. If you are on ground zero, if you are in the diaspora, you have a question for Dr. Asongu, you go ahead and call. The number is right there on your screen. I got the first caller coming in here. Hello.
Hello, Comrade Chris.
Hello. Can you please turn down the volume of your set and focus on your phone, please? Where are you calling from?
Yes, I just did that. I'm calling from Gokutinja country, sir.
Okay. And what is on your mind, sir?
Yes, I have some few questions to ask Dr. Asongu.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. I think that Dr. Asongu is either a La Republique agent or he is short-sighted. Yes. Now, Dr. Asongu, what mechanism have you used to be convinced that your proposal is what everyone will accept as you say? Now,
Okay. Yep.
is La Republique dialoguing with us? This is the second question. Is La République du Cameroon dialoguing with us as Cameroonian citizens or Southern Cameroon Ambazonians? And if La République, as you said, refuses the referendum after laying down our arms, we still have our police force representing us, as you said. Why not maintain our boys and get the referendum before creating the police force? So, Comrade, please, from these questions I ask, what I can gather is that La Republique is using every means to disarm us through people like Doctor with this kind of ideologies.
Okay, let him answer
This
because he
kind of
doesn't have
ideology is trying
time.
to push
Let,
through.
let him respond to you. Let him respond to you. Thanks for the call, Doctor. So his question
Yep.
is
Yep. I heard it.
okay.
Yep. First of all, I'm really surprised with that type of logical reasoning. First of all, it puts it as a question, draws a conclusion. But let me try to say, first of all, I'm not negotiating with La Republique. Nobody has reached out to me. We, for now, what we are doing is that everybody, the groups came together. In fact, I was not even at the initial stage. The members of the consultative board were there. Later, I was brought in. And what we are saying right now is that um, we we have the point that we are going towards a referendum. And as you asked, that what are we negotiating as, whether we are doing as citizens of Cameroon, I already cleared that we need to be clear-eyed. As until we get our independence, we are citizens of Cameroon. That's why if you want to travel, you need to show Cameroon ID, Cameroon passport.
All right,
So
let's
do I,
leave it
whether you
there.
like it
Let's
or
leave it
not.
there. Let's get to the
Except,
caller here from Ground Zero. Hello. 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 Hello.
Hello, Comrade Chris.
Yes, who may this be?
Are you online?
I am live, sir.
Are you?
Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir. You are live on ABS. Where are you calling from, please?
I'm calling from Canada, please.
All right. What is on your mind, sir?
Yeah, I heard you people speaking with the Dr. JJ.
Okay.
My question to Dr. JJ is, why did you say that the team from Chris Ano asked for money on public media and refused to give explanation on public media? On the other side, when Chris Ano asks you a question, that's the first question I'm asking you. The second question is, why do you think you people have the right to do what you want without including all actors concerned with the transparency on the table? And you feel that you are right.
Okay.
Why?
Okay.
Okay.
Let
me
me
answer. I think I'm not looking at something clear there. You people have problems. You should go back to your drawing table. You cannot be destroying people and thinking that you are the one who have the brilliant idea when you have hidden secret agenda. Everything that is transparent must be transparent on the table for everybody to see. You can't say that the group demanded for money and Chris Ano has given you explanation why the group walked away from that on that table, from that forum. And you are saying that they walked away because they demanded money. They asked you one person, you don't know. They asked you the reason. You can't explain. You say it's private. What private is it? This is a public media. You exposed them on public media that they were demanding money. It is equal for you to also explain on public media what happened before they demand the money. Because Chris Ano has given you explanation why they left.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for the call. Thank you for the call.
Let me have 5 minutes.
JJ, hold on a second. Hold on a second.
Let me answer the question.
Dr. Fontem Neba is here. I believe he was in some of those meetings. Dr. Fontem, I don't see your microphone is on. I don't think your microphone is. Turn on your microphone, please. Okay, I think it is on now. Now, Dr. Fontem, let me take this up with you. JJ has made an allegation here. It's a very serious allegation. I was not in any meeting with the consultative forum and the ICO or APJ or whatever. I think you and Cheps were there, and probably Akwanga. JJ has made a very serious allegation that some of you from the consultative forum asked for money from the ICO. I would like to know whether that is correct and if you are aware of it.
Well, thank you very much, Comrade Chris. I've been in this discussion for a while,
Centralize your camera,
and
please.
I've been in this discussion for a while, and unfortunately, at some point my camera got frozen, so I had to restart my device. But I think I listened very intently to Dr. January Asongu, and before coming to what he has to say, and I think I want us to be very pragmatic, I want us to be very constructive and very realistic. Before coming to the issue of his very, very delirious allegation, because I think that only somebody on some stimulant can make that kind of careless allegation. The first thing is that Dr. Songo was never in any of our meetings, although we saw his name, and he was one of the reasons why we had problems working with the ICO, and we had heard a lot of things about him. To have a meeting with him, and so we asked Capo Daniel, who was in charge of the dealings. We said to have a meeting of all the participants in this initiative that he is heading. We need to speak with Asongu doing us.
We can hear you, Doug. I think your camera is frozen, I guess.
Okay, while you get him on, can I respond to the other guy while you are
absolutely go on? Why he?
And I told you I'm not leaving, but I told you that I gave you 10 minutes. I'm ending in 2 minutes from now. I'll try to summarize.
The next point, we told the ICO, please just wait. You have made a delirious allegation. You never attended any of those meetings. Transpired, and the ICO told us that they were not going to abandon their process because they sponsor it. And we say we are not whether you sponsor it or you don't sponsor it, it's a South Cameroon's problem. And so it is you cannot be talking to me and then going to talk to Asongu and then going to talk to Capo. Why can't Asongu, Fontem, and Capo sit down and discuss what they discuss, and we will sit down on the table and talk about it. And we told the ICO that the reason why Ambazonians are divided division. So let us sit down and agree on what we do and let the ICO know we have a mechanism of that unify us. So let the ICO wait until the organizations meet. Capo never accepted, the ICO never accepted. And so
Dr. Fontaine, because Dr. JJ has to leave, I would like you to address a particular allegation of money
Dr. Asongu, very out of place. And I think you need to wipe your mouth.
Dr. Fontaine, I would like you to address a particular allegation of money being demanded by members of the consultative committee from the ICO.
Sorry, please.
I would like you to address the allegation of members of the commission demanding money from the ICO.
We never demanded any money. The ICO told us that because one of the things. Listen. They've asked me a question. Let me explain. The ICO was bragging about 300 million, a $300 million project, which they were supposed to sponsor in Cameroon, And I remember Comrade Cheps asking the details of that program. And eventually they said that those who were supposed to receive the grants to manage the money never met the standard. And so they did not use the money. And so eventually we got talking about the Ambazonians uniting among themselves before working with the ICO. And we told them that we cannot work under Capo Daniel. And they said they were the ones, ICO told us that they were the ones sponsoring. And we say, whether you are sponsoring or not, if you don't do what is right, it is not our business. We are not going to be part of anything that does not conform. We at no moment did the consultative commission make a request for money from the ICO. We told the ICO straightforwardly that if you don't show us the memorandum of understanding that you have with CAPCO, we cannot be part of this thing. Number two, if Ambazonians don't sit down around the table and address the issue of a framework that binds them together before they can work with the ICO should not be the framework. We should have our own framework, because we don't want anybody to come with their money and dictate to us what we need to do. That is exactly what transpired. We did not ask for any money from the ICO.
All right,
And
all right,
I
all
told the
right, all
ICO,
right.
I told the ICO personally that if they are not doing what is right, we will not be part of what they are doing.
Let
We
me
told them
give
straightforward.
Dr. JJ the last word here before he leaves. JJ, please.
Yeah, so first of all, you've heard guys coming in without any justification, claiming that we are for, or that I am for Cameroon government and all those type of things. Those are completely unfounded, including what Dr. Neba just said. Is claiming using those their Cameroonian slangs, like whether wipe mouth or whatever that means in English. I don't know. But the point person, a lot of money, I should say that proudly. I'm not ashamed of my accomplishment, and I don't need to be paid by any other person. I don't need to be paid by any other person, and I'm proud of that. And I've not been paid by any other person. And for people just to come up and throw slangs all over and the place and claim that people, and the other person talking about how do we bring in others, how do we know that our position is the one that is right. And that is why we are rolling out a process, including making public this document. We are rolling out a process to sensitize people to get their opinions, and at the end of the day, we want it to be a process that everybody who wants to be is involved, and definitely there will be other voices.
Comrade Chris, I think there's something we need to point out to Dr. January Asongu. It's unfortunate that due to technical hitches, I wasn't able to participate fully in this program. But what you need to know,
Well, gentlemen, you both are frozen. That means both of you are frozen. That means it is time for you to hold your peace and we call this. All right, gentlemen, again, both of you are frozen. I think we will call this segment for now. Dr. Neba, if you can hold on for, after my next segment, we will continue with this and open.